The United States Senate just voted to punish the world's biggest buyers of Russian oil and handed Donald Trump the power to decide when to pull the trigger. That should give Beijing and New Delhi pause. It should also give Brussels a moment of quiet relief, because for once Europe wrote itself an exemption. From here in Germany, the mechanics are the fascinating part. A confident majority in the Senate backed a bill that sharpens direct sanctions on Russian politicians and companies and squeezes Moscow's oil and gas exports harder. But the sharp edge is aimed outward. The law authorizes the president to sanction the 5 largest buyers of Russian energy, plus the 5 countries doing the most to help Russia dodge existing sanctions. That is a polite way of naming China and India. Both are enormous customers of Russian crude, and both now sit in the crosshairs of a bill that could strain American trade relations far beyond the battlefield in Ukraine. And Europe? Europe made sure to step out of the blast radius. Countries whose imports made up less than 15% of Russian gas exports over a 12-month period, and who are actively cutting those purchases, get an exemption. One senator put it plainly in mid-July: our European allies are not affected here. From Berlin, one notes the diplomatic craftsmanship, a sanctions bill that manages to threaten Asia while sparing the transatlantic partnership. The updated version, hammered out between Republicans and Democrats, also sets the frame to extend sanctions on Iran until 2031. The package had been stuck in the Senate for months. It gained momentum after the death of its Republican co-author, Lindsey Graham, on July 11th, when colleagues pushed for swift passage in his memory. Supporters are not understating the ambition. One senator on the Foreign Relations Committee called it the best way to force Russia's war machine to its knees and Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table. Ukraine's president thanked the Senate on the platform X, saying real, strong pressure from the United States is what will help most. The European Commission president welcomed it too, writing that together they should deny Russia the means to continue a war it cannot win. So far, so aligned. But here is the contradiction the celebrationists skip over. Some Democrats are uneasy, not with punishing Moscow, but with what the bill hands the president: sweeping tariff powers. In other words, Congress is preparing to give Donald Trump a very large economic weapon and trusting him to aim it only at Russia's customers. Anyone who has watched this president treat tariffs as an all-purpose bargaining tool might wonder how narrowly that discretion will stay. And it is not law yet. The House of Representatives still has to vote, and thanks to the recess, that will likely not happen until September. The outcome there is uncertain, so Europe cheers, Kiev thanks, and Washington hands its president a lever whose true reach nobody can quite predict. From Berlin, that is the story, not the pressure on Moscow, but who now holds the switch. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.